Hello and welcome back to Black Dice Gaming. I'm James and today we're doing some painting. We're going to be painting up these Tyrinids. It's the first time I've ever had a go at them and I'm quite happy with how they turned out, so I thought I'd share my recipe with you. I think these are the Leviathan colour schemes, and done some research on how it's done online, and this is my own take on that process. So sit back, enjoy, follow along, and hopefully I shall catch you in the next one. So we have undercoated the model in Wraithbone from a rattle can, and we're going to crack on with the very first colour, and for that I used Volupus Pink. This was diluted around 4:1 with contrast medium. Basically what we want to do is not make the colour so strong, we really dilute it down so it's quite weak. For this I'm mainly concentrating on the skin. I also cover the gun as well, although that will get a coat in a different paint a bit later on. So we're just working around the whole model here. We don't have to be too tidy at this stage, but obviously the tidier you are, the better it is anyway. I apologise here, there's a bit of out of focus going on, but basically I'm going around the whole thing, making sure that I get in all the nooks and crannies with the Volupus Pink mixture. And when it comes to the tail, I sort of drag it off so that because it's not a lot of texture on the tail, it's quite a smooth surface. So I just try and sort of drag it off so it's coloured, but there's nothing sort of settling on it. So you want it to be as pale as possible at this stage. Right? You see how I'm dragging it off now. So we'll just go on with the Volupus Pink, carry on with that, and we'll move on with the next colour. So what we did here, we've done a very light dry brushing. For that we used Wraithbone. And what we're doing here, again, across the skin, just trying to pick up all the highlights, make that skin even paler colour than just the Volupus Pink on its own. And I think a dry brush really works well on here. There's a lot of detail in these models, and a lot of things for the dry brush to pick up on. I do concentrate on the tail a little bit because with that being quite a smooth surface, you do want to make sure you get good coverage. Now what we're doing here is using Gulliman's flesh on the gun and the pipework around the gun, and that's just to give it a sort of different sort of shade to the main body of the skin. We're just going to cover the gun in the Gulliman's flesh. I have done that straight from the pot. I didn't dilute this one. But you can do if you wish, just to sort of make the colour a little paler, less dark. But that's personal choice. So just moving around the pipework there at the back, there's a few tricky places to get hold of with these little models, but just make sure you give it a good once over. There we go. So moving on here, we're going to Volupus Pink, and it's just Volupus Pink on its own, straight from the pot. And all these sort of vents, or the little areas of the skin and on the gun that are slightly deeper recessed, we're just putting that inside there. We also do the tongue and the mouth at this stage as well. So the inside of the mouth, I do cover the teeth up at this point. And just the eye section on the gun, that gets a little colour of just the Volupus Pink as well. Just the sort of eye socket area. Now this is a nice contrast against the Volupus Pink that had been diluted and with the Wraithbone dry brush. So moving on, we're going to do the sort of carapace area on the gun, and for that I used Black Templar, I think it was. So we're just doing the gun. We're going to do the gun, the claws, and its hooves, all in this black. The stark colour of the black against the much lighter pinky fleshy colour is quite a good contrast. I did debate doing them red, or at least a very, very dark, or having red come through, in which case what I would have done is paint them red and then do sort of basilicanum grey over the top. Maybe while it's still wet, so there's sort of like a wet blend going on. But just for simple ease of getting these knocked out, I mean, there's a unit of 10 of them. I'm currently doing 2 at a time here, so they don't take too long. But if you wanted to do a few things and push it a little further, you absolutely could do. So that's the black on, and at this stage we're moving on to the carapace on its back, and for that I'm using Leviathan Purple. It's a really nice, deep, strong colour. Obviously you need to be very careful at this stage because we don't want to get any of this on the skin. With it being so dark, that would cause us quite a few problems. So we're just going to go around the skin area, the carapace now, trying to avoid the skin best we can. There's a few little chints of armour on its leg, so don't forget to colour those in. And then there's a couple of little bumps on his tail as well that just need picking out in this really nice, rich, deep purple. Of course, you're going to get the top of its head as well. So moving on, I can't see what I'm doing at the moment, but yeah, there we go. So using Gene Stealer Purple, and basically what we're doing is we're doing there's not a lot of paint on the brush. It's not quite a dry brush, but basically we're working backwards and we're just pulling the paint across the raised areas, so it sort of catches the edges in the correct direction, and it just leaves a highlight just to break the quite blocky purple up. This will just give us a bit of a highlight, give us a bit of a change into the purple tone. It's a very simple step. It's not quite dry brushing, but there's probably a bit more paint on it than that. Moving on to the sort of finishing touches here, we're just using Flash Gets Yellow for the eye on the gun and the eye on the Tyranid itself. It's very difficult to show this. Probably need to get a better camera set up, but this is the best I've got at the minute, and it's going to have to do. But yeah, you can't really see it, but I have picked out the eyes. And now we're just moving on to the teeth. We're going with Wraithbone. I'm just gently going to brush them. Probably takes quite a few little passes to cover on the Volupus Pink, but we're just gently picking the teeth out one at a time. And the sort of stark whiteness of the Wraithbone really stands out against the dark Volupus Pink. There you go. So that about wraps it up. It's a nice simple paint process. Hope it helps you out.